What was that noise? Did you hear that noise then, Lee?
No?
Oh, well, it must be the river. Yeah, if you can hear me above the river, I just heard something a bit strange. We are in the middle of nowhere here and there's nobody else around. There we go, do you hear it again?
I don't know.
It's like,
It's scaring me now.
no, you know that film we saw, the Blair Witch thingy?
Yeah.
Where you could hear those stones knocking together, it's like that.
Oh no.
Oh, don't be silly though, you'll be alright. Whatever you do though, don't leave me because my torch has stopped working and I can't see a bloody thing, alright?
Okay.
Don't get spooked now, whatever you do.
Okay.
You're scared, you?
I'm trying not to.
It's getting louder.
Oh no. How much longer are you going to be?
Oh, about, I'll just check. Hang on. I can't really see.
Oh Nick, I can't see you. Have you gone?
Oh my god! Ah, what's that? What's that? What the hell is that?
Cardinal Fang! Fetch the comfy chair.
Yes, that's right. Pull up your comfy chair, grab a coffee, sit down and watch.
During the meanwhilest... No.
Well, hello, it's Dexter and me, and we are back after our short little autumn break, and we are back with our promised Halloween special. Now, I know this doesn't look much like a Halloween type set, but there are two main reasons. Well, three reasons really why it's not. One, I couldn't be bothered. Two, I lost a lot of money on my calendar venture. A lot of money. Won't be doing that again. And three, the stories are scary enough in themselves to not need any props. Now, before we go on, I'm going to say I am not a believer in ghosts and the paranormal. I'm not. Everything that I'm going to tell you about today is probably got a perfectly logical explanation. I just don't know what that explanation is, but there probably is one. And I've got, how many stories have I got for you? 7 stories. 5 of them photography related and 2 of them not. Now, the first couple, if you watched my nodal rail video from the Barron Mountain, you'll have heard these already, but I'm going to sort of retell them for people who didn't watch that video. The first one happened a number of years ago, back in, I don't know what, late 80s, early 1990s. A friend of mine asked me to accompany her to the graveyard at Capel y Barron on the Barron Mountain because she was looking for an old relative's grave. I think she was doing some like family tree research and she wanted to find this old grave. And it was quite a spooky evening. It was kind of like winter time. It was cold, it was damp, it was foggy up there. It was starting to get dark and we were looking around for this grave. Anyway, we stumbled across one which was just like a plain, simple wooden cross. Obviously perhaps somebody who couldn't afford a proper, stone gravestone. It was old, it was gnarly, it had obviously been there for a couple of 100 years. And anyway, as we were looking at this cross, the horizontal piece of it fell off. We didn't hang around much longer to look for the relative's grave. We scarpered and headed off out of there. It was given like the sort of the atmosphere around the place and whatnot. And I think it was before the chapel had been renovated, which it had been later on in its life, and it was quite a spooky experience. The second one at the chapel, Capel y Barron, was a photography one. Now, I'd gone up there one summer's evening to photograph sunset up there. Now, bearing in mind, this chapel is in the middle of nowhere. There's nowhere around it at all. There are a couple of little, like, sort of farmhouses, but they're about a mile away. Anyway, I'd been up there about, I don't know, 20-25 minutes photographing the sunset. I was mucking about with trying with a different filter on or whatever, and I heard like children's giggling, like laughter. The sort of noises that kids make when they're sort of playing and hiding. And I thought it was a couple of kids playing hide and seek in the graveyard. So I could hear this giggling. So I thought I'd have a little look around. I'm pretty sure I'm on my own up here. There's nobody here. And I was on my own. There was nobody else around. And so I kind of explained that to myself as I was running away. That it was probably kids playing in one of the farmyards, about a mile away. But because it was such a still evening, their voices, or their giggles were carrying on the air. But I don't know. Anyway, right. So that's 2. The next, is it 1, 2, 3, 4 are all photography related. And the first one is going back a number of years now. I was a regular visitor to Waterfall Country up above the Leith Valley, and I was trekking to one of the falls one day, which involved walking alongside the river, then crossing over a bridge, and then up a bank to get to the path. There is a path you can follow, but it's a longer sort of trek, and I took this shortcut up through the woods. Anyway, I was about 3/4 of the way up when I felt like a violent tug on my tripod from behind. It felt like somebody kind of like sneaked up behind me and was giving that a really violent tug on my tripod to the extent that I went back like that. So I thought, my first thought was, who the hell's playing a trick on me? And my second thought was, I must have got it caught on a branch of a tree or something. I turned round, no tree, no body. So go figure. I don't know how I experienced that. I can't really explain that one away, but it was quite a strange one. And every other time I went to the waterfalls after that, I went on the path. I stuck to the path. The second one was up at Scood Gladys, and I went up. It was a May evening, and I had nothing else to do, and I figured, I'm going to go and take a picture of Scood Gladys. We'd had a fair bit of rain that day, but then it was a nice calm late spring, early summer evening. So I parked up in Pont Neathvaughan and made the 20-25 minute walk to the waterfall. I was actually shooting with a film camera that night as well, and as I was changing cameras, I got the feeling that somebody was watching me, so I turned around, and sure enough there was a young lad sitting on a rock about 15-20 yards away from me. He didn't look right, he just didn't look normal. He was dressed in very much old-fashioned style clothing, and then it was like when you see these bands that go on tour now, and they have like holograms of band members on stage. There's like a certain a halo or a glow around them, and there was this kind of like halo glow appearance to this young lad. I said hello to him, and he was smoking like an old, rolled up, cigarette. I said hello to him. Nothing came back. This strange. Not saying hello. So turned back round to do my camera, to do something. Turned around again and gone. There's nobody there. Nobody sitting there. Now that area where these falls are, there used to be an old gunpowder works there many years ago, probably at the turn of the century, the last century. And there are still some old mine workings that you can see. There are some old caves where they used to store some stuff. And that was quite... I didn't feel scared though with that one. I just didn't feel frightened at all. I was the only person there. There was nobody else around, but I didn't feel like I felt up at Capel y Baron where I felt I got to get out of here. I felt quite peaceful and serene, so I carried on taking my pictures before I strolled home. The next one involves a trip out to Scood Ddwli, which is on the same kind of trail as Scood Gladys. And I went with my sister one night, and again it was like a summer's evening, and we took some photos of one of the falls there, like a wide angle shot. So we had like the riverbed on the bottom with that, like, kind of like using that as like a leading line up to the falls in the background. Anyway, we didn't notice anything strange when we were taking pictures, and we got home and put the pictures up in the computer, and I said to my sister, "Hey Corin," I said, "what's that strange smudge in the bottom left of your lens, you know, or whatever, or of your image?" I said, "It must have been something on your lens or on your filter or whatever. That's really, really strange." But it was only on one of the images we shot. And I loaded my images up, and it was on one of mine as well. And you know, to this day, I cannot find that image amongst my collection. I can find others from that night that we went there, of those falls, but I cannot find, and neither can my sister, bizarrely, find that image. Really, really, really strange. One of the photographic outing shot, now this isn't strange at all, but it was quite scary when it happened. I went up to the place that I call Paradise, the Swansea Valley, for an astro shoot. It was gone midnight, pitch black, no moon, an ideal night for star photography. So I wanted to go down and photograph like a small cascade, and then the North Star above that, and star trails around it. So I parked up, walked down to the falls through some like brambles and bushes and everything. I didn't put a torch on because I wanted my eyes to, you know, to like adjust to the night quite quickly. So I was really, really careful going down there. Anyway, set up my camera, and I did a red light on that then to set my camera up. And anyway, took a picture of the falls, checked that it was all nice and everything, and then focused on the sky and set I think like a 45-minute exposure on the sky, and sat down, poured myself a cup of tea, and then I could hear somebody approaching, or something approaching. Twigs were being snapped, brambles were being brushed against. Now bear in mind, it was pitch black, and even though my eyes had adjusted to the darkness, I looked around and you still couldn't see anything. You could hear the babbling of the stream or the river as it made its way down the river. You could hear the rush of water over the falls, and I could hear this creature, whatever, getting nearer, until I felt a tap on my shoulder, turned round, and it was a sheep. Now this sheep was as terrified as I was. We both let out, or I let out a scream, the sheep let out a bleat. I stood up, the sheep about turned and ran off down the river. I hope he's alright. This was years ago, before I was ill, and even it was probably talking 2011, 2012. So yeah, there was that night. Now the last one, now this is not a photography related one, it's a cycling related one, and it is proper next level scary, this one. There's a road in the Neath Valley. It's the B something now, but it used to be the A465, and it was called like the Heads of the Valleys Road. And it was between like a 3-lane come 4-lane stretch as you get past Hirwaun, that's right, Hirwaun, and another dual carriageway stretch that ended in Aberdillice, and in between those 2 points, there's a new road there now, like a busy dual carriageway now. Between those 2 points was the A465, a single carriageway road which wended its way through a wooded valley. Now, long after the dual carriageway was built, this road became incredibly quiet, so it was a fantastic place to go and ride my bike. But before the dual carriageway was built, it was one of the most deadly roads in Britain. There were campaigns for years to get the road improved or bypassed, because there was a fatal accident there 3 or 4 times a year. Somebody would be killed on this stretch of road. Anyway, I'd gone out. It was towards the end of the season, so I wasn't really on a training ride. I'd gone out for a little just a spin on my bike, and I was riding up this Neath Valley Road, and I sensed that there was a car on my drive or cycle on the left hand side of the road, or the proper side of the road, to be honest. Here in the UK, it's the rest of the world that's wrong. We drive on the left, so I could sense a vehicle over my right shoulder, so I turned, sort of half turn, and kind of like gestured for the vehicle to pass, because there was like a clear road ahead of me. There was nothing ahead, but the vehicle didn't pass, and I thought it was a bit strange, because we're on like a dead straight piece of road here. If you're going to pass anybody, it's the safest place to overtake. So gestured again. Again, nothing came past me, so I turned around, and I'm really surprised at the car I saw. Now, I like my cars, right? I like old classic cars, and this was about a K or an L, 1972 plate Audi. This Audi was there. It was 10, 15 feet behind me. I could even see the woman driving it and a child in the passenger seat. So I again gestured for them, to pass me. I was probably riding at about 25, 28 miles an hour, so I slowed down by this point now for them to come past. Looked round, still there. Gestured, come on, pass. Looked round again, nothing. Not a trace of a car anywhere. So I double checked. I thought, that's really strange. So there was nowhere on this road for this car to pull off. No junctions, no side streets, no lay-bys, no nothing. So I turned around, retraced my steps back to where I last was sure that I saw the car. Because I thought, well, it must have driven off the road, because there is no other explanation. But nothing. No tyre tracks, no Audi, no nothing. And trust me, it took me a while before I cycled that road again on my own. Believe me, it was that was quite a scary experience. Anyway, that is the During the Meanwhilest Halloween special. Have you encountered anything strange on your photographic or otherwise outings? Let us know. Let us know in the comments below. Share them, and I will try my best to debunk them. As I said, I don't believe in the paranormal. I can normally debunk anything that happens, but these stories that happen to me really, really strange. They happened over probably about a 15-20 year period, so it's not something that happens to me, like every day, but nevertheless, really, really strange, spooky, scary experiences. Right, next week is the Q&A 1,000 subscriber. Well, I hope, if I haven't reached 1,000 subscribers by now, I hope to have reached it by the time that video goes out. Otherwise, it's going to be, a 993 subscriber special, something like that. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this video really, really scary. And yeah, stay safe, stay well, stay normal. And Dexter and I will see you next week. All the best. Bye bye.